Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Rocket Rabbit's commentary over Devious Dungeon. And in this episode, we will be attempting to progress through our first death.
Yes.
Now, because we managed to get all the way through the first dungeon and the first act and over half of the second act, we actually got a huge gold bonus on our death, which allows us to do some significant weapon and armor upgrades before going on. Also, you'll notice that due to the roguelike nature of the game, we don't actually have to start off from the first floor. Yay!
Yay. Level 23.
And here we have a new palette for us, the ice palette. And don't worry, there's not actually ice physics involved here. It just looks like it. It just looks ice and/or crystalline.
I wonder if players at any point started overcompensating for their movements because they only thought that there were ice physics on the floor.
I most certainly have done that. Not necessarily in this game, but in other similar 2D platformers, I have definitely done that. I remember at least, I think I remember trying to do it in Crash Bandicoot 2, specifically because of the snow levels. I thought that we were going to have ice physics down there.
Right, that you would expect it in some places because it is in at least some places, but not everywhere.
Yeah.
Where
I thought it would actually be on the snow portions of the snow levels as opposed to just on the ice areas.
Yeah, because any person who's walked through snow can attest that, yeah, I took a dump walking across some snow one time. I was going too fast, and it was powdery.
Yes, when you compress powdered snow, it becomes a very slippery and slick surface.
Crash would learn this well after he bashes his head once again.
Except Crash never gets to learn this lesson because the snow doesn't actually have ice physics in Crash Bandicoot 2.
Maybe that's where Crash's learning disability comes from. A series of concussions.
No, Crash's learning disability comes from the Evolvo Ray.
He's just so damn itchy. Have you ever seen a bear use a pine tree in order to scratch its back?
No, but I do remember seeing Baloo use a banana tree in order to scratch his back. That was very nice.
Yes, because animals with fur are quite itchy, as I have come to learn.
This is because of all the insects and parasites that they have to deal with constantly.
That also is true. Money.
When do you think is a good point in the game for them to stop dropping single denominations of currency?
Never.
Never. Wow.
I mean, for God's sake, that's why we have pennies. Is because at some point the pennies must be used.
Sure. You do know that there are several different movements across the country to discontinue the penny, right?
Yeah, and they will be shut down every single time.
Oh.
People. That's just my prejudice with any argument that has been going on for, I don't know, 40 years or 50 years. Like, you'd think at some point that if the grounds held water, that it would make a damn legislative movement.
Except that's not exactly how our legislation, at least in this country, works. You have to fight for things for extremely longer than you think you would have to in order for them to actually occur.
And then I'm reminded of, I think it was, I could be wrong, of course. I think it was Time Magazine put out a chart. No, it wasn't Time Magazine. It was actually, okay, so I saw it on the internet. You can't trust anything on the internet. Well, take this with a grain of salt. That I saw a chart that said this is what the middle class generally wanted, and this is how many times Congress approved of it. It was kind of, the two didn't seem to be related. But then you looked
they are not.
And then you looked at a comparison on another chart as we rack up more coins by smashing things. That this is a chart of what the wealthy and what the billionaire class want, and look how much more consistently Congress corresponded to their demands. In other words, what the article came to, again, grain of salt, is Congress does not care what you think.
Yeah, Congress does not care what you, a middle class pedestrian, actually thinks. Congress cares what their sponsors think, and their sponsors think, hey, let's make it easier for us to get more sponsors.
Level 25. Pikachu's cord.
Well, at least in Generation 1, because I think it was 25 when Pikachu actually learned Thunderbolt.
Oh, Pikachu can... Well, you mean like naturally learning Thunderbolt?
Yeah, naturally.
25.
Also, 25 was was 25 the TM count for Thunderbolt as well?
No, TM24 was Thunderbolt.
Okay, so TM25 was Thunder then.
Yeah, it was either 25 or 26. I think it was 25 actually.
I think 26 was 26 in Generation 1 is Earthquake.
Because 27 was Fissure and 28 was Dig.
That would put 29 at Psychic. I don't actually have these memorized. I just remember the TM1 in Generation 3 turned to Dragon Claw, which was kind of nice because Dragon Claw was a move that was otherwise relatively difficult to learn for the Pokemon that could learn it.
I mean, yeah,
there's a Beholder up there.
Because you don't necessarily have to be a Dragon-type Pokemon to learn Dragon Claw, but then if you're not a Dragon-type Pokemon, then you're missing out on most of the point of having Dragon Claw, which is to get the 1.5 times multiplier for using same type bonus.
Stab.
Money.
Send lawyers, guns, and money.
That's one thing about Dark Souls, is that so this would be the equivalent of finding like fading souls everywhere, because fading souls also represent points. Hidden room, and you know, of course, I mentioned Dark Souls in a game where there are fucking invisible walls or whatever, illusions.
Avoid the bottomless pit spikes, except we still need to find the key for this door.
Right.
It's just up here.
Well, of course. The cannons are protecting it. And the lasers...
Specifically, this wolf was protecting it.
Sweet.
There we are. Got our level up. Woohoo!
We must fill in that key icon at all costs. Charge! Oh.
Nah, I really dislike the fact that beholders can shoot me from off screen. Well, mind you, they and wizards are effectively the only real concerning enemies that can do it, because even the cannoneers don't usually shoot you off screen. I mean, this one can, but usually isn't. So.
Yeah, and because the cannonballs fly at a perfectly straight trajectory, it's way easier to avoid.
Yeah, whereas the beholders actually try and shoot at where you are, so their shot pattern can be much more difficult to dodge.
Smack.
Okay, so where is that goddamn key?
We must find other things that haven't deaded yet. Money. Oh,
Here's where we
teleport.
started.
Damn it.
There, a wizard. Do you have the key? For the record, no. The wizard does not actually have the key. But...
You're too close to the entrance. They wouldn't put it this close.
Oh yes, they would.
Oh.
Remember, the randomized layout doesn't actually give a shit where they put the key, as long as the key and the door are both accessible.
Right. Smack. Okay, well we're getting what. There it is.
There it is.
Surely.
So it's new in the world of Cloud as we attempt to gear up for the boss.
Perceived unfairness. It is a frustrating thing when things are unfair. And I think it's important also to understand that when you're in the moment and you're having a bad time, as long as you acknowledge that things are, you know, maybe it's because things genuinely are unfair. And that should satisfy you, knowing that, well, this is why you feel the way you do, is because it's unfair.
Alright, let's get ourselves a potion of skill, which will increase our dex. And a full heal.
The man in the iron
So,
mask.
here we have boss number 2, the Ancient Beholder. I hate this room layout.
I fire 12 shots instead of 3. Die! Holy
This room layout reminds me specifically of the Beholder boss from Rogue Legacy, which is why I dislike it. But if you'll notice, his shots actually only do 1 point of damage to us at a time.
Yep.
So we can just face take him.
Tanked. Sweet.
Oh, we got almost 200 gold for it too. Nice.
Easiest boss ever.
Only because his machine gun damage is so small. Otherwise, that would actually be a really difficult boss for me to perfect.
Well, like, how else would you fight that boss? You have one attack.
Yeah, that is a limitation of the game. Is that you don't really have other methods of engaging encounters.
You know, and there was only one platform that would get you in striking distance.
No, there were two. There was one behind him as well.
So the game gave you a choice. I see. Whoa.
Upgraded Beholder is over there.
Yes, they fire their shots even more quickly, and I hope they deal more damage.
They do more damage
was
as well.
Pathetic. That was a boss enemy, goddammit. It was only hitting for 1 fucking point every shitty time it hit you.
Here, have a gold knight.
Hammer Bros.
Yep, and also a death knight.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, we are officially at the point where we encounter our first major difficulty spike. Thankfully, this is the only major difficulty spike that there is in the game.
Right.
Going through Chapter 3 specifically is significantly more difficult than Chapter 1 and 2 combined.
Yeah, because then you get used to, you know, Mr. Triple Swing, and Hammer Bros. So it's kind of like the Mountain Lion from Oblivion, I would say, because Mountain Lions do not start appearing until you are at least level 13, and they are some of the most frustratingly difficult enemies to come across, because not only do they attack really fast, they also cause massive amounts of stagger, and their attacks are wicked powerful. So there's a chance that you will probably die on your very first encounter with a Mountain Lion.
When I actually finally sat down and cleared did my my story mode run through Oblivion, I didn't even hit level 13.
That is good. You should probably be under-leveled for the entire game, because the game is so fucking awesome that it doesn't care what level you are. It knows how to set the game up accordingly.
Well, it's very easy to go throughout Oblivion without leveling because you have to sleep in order to level. And who needs sleep in video games, right?
Yeah, all you gotta do is just stand there and close your eyes for, 12 hours. You wake up and everything is fine.
Alright, this time, although we have the key, we need to find the door as well as the hidden room. But honestly, we probably will not find the hidden room this time. Oh well.
Kill everyone. There is reason why Scary Goldman exists.
He is to give us additional experience and monies.
Yes. Well, one thing I've come to appreciate about games that give you things to do is, well, opportunity costs one thing that maybe you don't feel like going after it. But then what does he hold? Well, that's up to the game to decide and for you to find out, because I've found some really surprising enemy drops in my time, let me tell you, like even ordinary enemies. Like, really? You carry a fucking character upgrade?
No. That's usually the case when you're doing a Diablo 2 style loot.
Well, I wouldn't know. I haven't actually played Diablo 2, but yeah, that's one. It's a great example of a no stone unturned type of game.
I mean, you played Borderlands 2. That mostly counts.
Yeah, but Borderlands 2 preoccupies you with ways to kind of defeat the purpose of even having ammo in containers, because then your guy can regenerate ammo, or enemies drop ammo and that type of stuff. Oh, we are close to death. Careful. He only fires 2 shots.
Yes, but he fires those 2 shots relatively rapidly.
Yeah. We need a level
Oh, we are
up.
so close to leveling up.
Yes. We gotta... Alright. Yeah, very nice. But we still need more XP.
So, are we going to finish this part by dying due to touch damage?
Probably. I'm gonna take a guess that we're gonna die by touch damage. No?
Yep,
Yeah.
we got shot. Alright, be safe, everybody.
Sweet.